Let's show them the game.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to start you off on the planet of Hutta. Now, it's worth pointing out this is the first time that Hutta has been a fully realized planet in the Star Wars universe, and we're showing you our bounty hunter class. We're actually showing you the female bounty hunter, which we haven't shown before. Special reveal. There you go, bounty hunter with bosoms. Hooray.
She's kind of hot.
She is, if you like girls in video games that aren't real, but that's cool, man. That's fine. In any case, as a bounty hunter, you're here to try and win entry into the Great Hunt. It's a contest sponsored by the Mandalorians to find the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy. In keeping with the traditional bounty hunters from the films, your motivation here is personal and it's mercenary. Now, we announced recently that this is the first ever fully voiced MMO. What that means is that every player character, both a male and a female version, every NPC, every quest giver, everyone you talk to in the game has full, high-quality voiceover. End-to-end, this is an epic BioWare and Lucas storytelling experience. Now, you're about to talk with this guy, Braden. He's your mentor. This is the first conversation that you have in the Old Republic as a bounty hunter.
We're almost set up. See if you can't get that security network running, Mako.
Sure thing, Braden. We'll be, hey now.
Hey, indeed. The main attraction is here. Team, this is the girl we're pinning all our hopes on. Best shot I've ever seen in Nerves of Steel. She's great hunt material, all right. What do you say, Hunter? Ready to meet your team?
Now you can see Jake is making a choice here. As Blaine referred to in the past, if you've played BioWare games, you know what this means. This not only changes your immediate story, it changes the way that NPCs treat you later in the game.
My team. I like the sound of that.
Get used to the idea. To win the Great Hunt, you'll need support, structure, and intel. Let's do things official-like. This is Mako, little genius I picked up years ago in Nar Shaddaa. She provides intel and tech.
Hope you're as good as the old man says.
And the big bruiser is Jory. He handles the heavy lifting and provides security for our base of operations.
Achua Benki, Dobra Sawata Hopa, Habaota Danaga Wonki Mulira Lapi.
Nice to meet you both. Let's get to work.
All right, enough introductions. Down to business. We're here because the Great Hunt has been called. Little Mako is the most rabid fan of hunter history this side of Geonosis, and even she doesn't know exactly what the Great Hunt entails.
I do know the names of every Great Hunt winner, though. Bloodworthy, the Defenestrator, Jewel and Nightbringer.
Every bounty hunter who's won a Great Hunt went on to massive glory and riches, which is why we're here.
Personally, I'm just here to kill people and cause damage.
Dallas, she sounds kind of high maintenance to me, man.
I think she's a little, I don't think you need to date her, Blaine, in your weird world that you live in that isn't reality. Anyway, that is your first conversation in the Old Republic, folks. Every conversation in the game is going to be like that one. Great dialogue, compelling choices, and cinematic digital acting. This has been another place that BioWare has been a leader over the years, putting cinematic acting into the game. Now, as we step outside, I'm going to talk a little bit about our art style. We've been referring to this as stylized realism. The idea is to create a world that is very unique, it's very evocative of Star Wars in the Old Republic era, but it's not tied down to photorealism. And I think you're going to see that as we show you the planet Hutta. So there you go, folks. That is Hutta. It's the home of the Hutts, as you might have guessed. Although it wasn't originally their planet, they actually moved in, enslaved the existing population, changed the name of the planet because they're very classy people, and then turned it into a bit of a toxic waste dump. Lots of gases and noxious fumes there.
And then did they dress all the women in the little bikini thing?
I don't know if they did that. You seem to have a fixation here, Blaine, and I think we should move past it. In any case, off in the distance, you can see the palace of Nemro the Hutt. He's the warlord in charge of this particular section of the planet. In charge is maybe a stretch because there's a whole lot of gangland violence in the streets, which we're about to cause. I think this is going to be your first look at combat in the Old Republic. So obviously, the bounty hunter is a ranged class. She has a blaster. She has some rockets at her disposal. We want to make sure your combat is as iconic as your story. It has to feel like a bounty hunter's combat system. So things we remember from the bounty hunters, they have some gadgets they can use. So when she doesn't want to take on 3 at a time, starts off with a little stun dart, then comes up close and takes them out with a flamethrower. Obviously she wants to maintain range, but if she has to get up close, she handles it the way a bounty hunter should. Now you notice that Jake is taking on multiple enemies at once here. This is a part of the game. We want to make sure that you feel like a hero from the beginning. So you'll take on groups of 2, groups of 3, even 4 very early on. We just make sure you have the tools to handle that kind of combat. Another look at that flamethrower because it's hot. You see what I did there with the hot? That's funny.
I do, I see.
Yeah, it's not funny. In any case, this is what we're talking about. This is heroic Star Wars combat that feels like the iconic class you think of when you think of the films. Now, we're going to jump over and show you a second class here. We'll get back to the Bounty Hunter in a minute.
All right, so the next class we're going to show you here, we first talked about at E3, and this is, of course, our Smuggler class. Now, you can quickly identify where this guy's taken from. Looks a lot like Han Solo from the movies. And so this means that, of course, he is the scrappy, jaded underdog who always comes out on top, no matter the odds stacked against him. Of course, this guy always gets the girl, maybe even the hot bounty hunter chick.
You really need to drop this whole fixation with virtual girls.
Now, we start out on the planet of Ord Mantell here, and Ord Mantell is a war-torn planet in the Star Wars universe. You saw a destroyed walker there in the background. And basically, there are some separatists that are duking it out with the Republic here, and our mission as a smuggler is to run guns to the Republic side and help them out. Now, let's see what combat looks like with our smuggler. All right, so we quickly establish he's a ranged class, that trusty blaster at his side, if you will. Now, one of the important things about our game is every class, we want every class to play, feel, look different. And so in thinking about, how we could make the smuggler special, we had to think about what Han Solo does in the movie. So Dallas, could you do a little reenactment?
I think he does a lot of this. Maybe peeks around corners and stuff. Yeah, he's not really a tough toe-to-toe fighter, our Han Solo.
No, he is not. So what we've come up with is the first ever cover system of its type in an MMO, which you see here. Now, it's often disputed, but some may say that Han
shoots first, and that's what we're going to show you right here.
Right.
That's right. Han shoots first.
All right, so you can see Jake has taken cover here, and the way that works is he's targeted an enemy, and then we get some indicators in the world that show us cover points. And we can switch between cover points, which we just saw there. And once we have established ourselves in a good cover position, we can then fire upon the enemy. Now you may notice above the enemy's head there's a green indicator. Just tells us that we have a defensive bonus against that enemy because we found a good cover point. Another thing to notice here as we go into cover again is watch that quick slot bar at the bottom of the screen. You'll notice we have different abilities based on whether we are in cover or not. So just one more advantage. Nice flashbang there. And following that up with a special ability called Barrage, able to fire very rapidly with the blaster at multiple enemies. Now, of course, the smuggler has to have his own signature style if he has to get close to an enemy. So what do we have here?
Nice.
Yeah.
He's a classy guy. He is a classy fellow.
There you go, folks. Dirty kick followed by a headshot. Excellent. So great look at our smuggler there, but we're going to move ahead, show you a third class and third planet now. Dallas, take it away.
All right, now this class was just recently revealed at Gamescom. This is the Sith Warrior, everybody. This is the hotness. So we've shown you a couple of ranged classes thus far, but you can't show a Star Wars game without a little bit of lightsaber combat. So that's what you're going to see with the Sith Warrior here. He starts on the planet of Korriban. Again, if you played the original Knights of the Old Republic, as it sounded like a few of you had, you'll remember Korriban. It is a Sith stronghold. It's actually where they trained their young Sith, and this is why you're here. You're learning to channel the dark side of the Force. Now, you're going to actually be entering an ancient tomb here. These have been excavated numerous times, and you're going to try and recover some very powerful artifacts down there. There's some pretty nasty enemies along the way, though, and you're going to have to deal with them in a way that only a Sith Warrior can.
And I just want to point out, who better to go into an ancient evil tomb than Deep Crow?
Oh, yeah. Bring it, Deep. There you go. So, you saw him do the Force charge there. As I mentioned before, we want to make sure these classes feel like what you remember from the movies, and everybody remembers Darth Vader doing that when fighting Luke in Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. As a Sith Warrior, you want to close quickly. You want to charge in and do a whole lot of damage up close. Very nice. Now, we've taken on a couple of melee enemies, but we're also going to see what he does when he has to deal with folks at range. Obviously, he needs to be able to deal with that situation as well. Unless Jay just kills them that fast. We're going to kill one more group here, and you're going to be able to see what happens when you have multiple enemies surrounding you. We keep talking about that. You can see he's actually parrying the guys behind him while he deals damage to the one he's targeted. This is all part of that heroic combat, the ability to take on multiple enemies and then do a whole lot of damage very quickly when you need to.
Man,
Nice.
I just gotta say, that guy kicks ass.
That guy kicks a lot of ass. All right, we're going to see a little bit more of the Sith Warrior here, so you haven't had your full fill of Sith Warrior, but we're going to take a pause.
That's right. We have a special announcement. Now, we've got a full theater here. We appreciate you guys taking the time to wait out there. We want to make sure we reward you properly. So we have a very special reveal here before we get back into gameplay.
This is just for PAX. Has not been shown or mentioned before today.
That's right. So we get a lot of questions, of course, about Knights of the Old Republic, history, etc. People want to know what happened to Revan. People want to know who the Emperor is. So we want to reveal to you, here at PAX, first time ever, the ultimate evil force in Knights of the Old Republic. Here we go. Ready? Hit it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Darth Binks, baby.
I think he has a special message for us.
Misa Darth Binks! Misa Maxi Big with the dark side force with an evil kaboom!
Oh yeah, it's coming, baby. It's coming in Star Wars The Old Republic. That actually wasn't our reveal for today. We had a joke on you. We're funny like that.
I think that explains it all. All right, so in our pause here, we are going to get back into gameplay, but let's recap what we've seen so far. So in the beginning, Dallas talked about these 4 key ingredients to making a great role-playing game. So far, we've shown you a little bit of combat with 3 classes, the Sith Warrior, the Bounty Hunter, and the Smuggler. We've shown you some exploration with Hutta, Ord Mantell, and Korriban. And we've shown you a little bit of progression with some higher level abilities. We're going to get back to that in a minute. But let's go back to story. So of the classes we've seen so far, if I was to play through, or Dallas, either one, was to play through as a Smuggler, who's a Republic side class, and then to play through as a Bounty Hunter, who is an Empire, Sith class, Empire class, our gameplay experience would be entirely different end to end. Hundreds of hours, is that correct?
100% unique.
That's right. All of our voiceover, all of our quests, the people we interact with, our rewards, everything
You would not
completely
see
unique.
one single duplicate mission if you did that. Not one.
So when people ask us, go ahead. Oh,
Well, this is a question we often get. Yeah.
so
Gee,
what's-
Blaine, why is it that you are not making Knights of the Old Republic 3?
That's a great question, Dallas, and I have a good answer, I think.
Do you?
We are making Knights of the Old Republic 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on in an MMO where you can play through those stories online with your friends.
I think that sounds compelling. What do you think?
All right, so we're going to jump back into the game. The best way to showcase this is what we're going to show you next. It's called a Flashpoint. It's a highly customized story and gameplay experience. And we want to give a shout out here.
Yeah, actually, just specially today, I didn't even know they would be here. The 2 designers responsible for the Flashpoint that you're going to see are actually right here in the audience. So Jesse, Eric, stand up, wave, dance, do something cool. These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you want to be these dudes. That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's get back into the game.
All right, so this is a Flashpoint. This takes place on an Imperial transport ship. Jake is playing again as a Sith Warrior. He's a higher level Sith Warrior than what you saw before. He's leveled up considerably. He's learned to wave at the camera because that's a cute thing to do in a demo. That's very nice, Jake. He has cooler armor, all that. He's grouped up with a Bounty Hunter, also higher level, also much cooler, also waving. Yeah, there you go. Hi, I'm Goofy. So these 2 were just traveling on an Imperial transport when a crisis struck. The captain of the ship disobeyed a direct order from a Grand Moff. If you remember Grand Moff Tarkin from the films, you know that that is a terrible idea.
Yeah, I would never do that.
No, I would tell you that's a good idea not to do that. So, the Grand Moff contacted the 2 of you. He said, look, there's a Jedi in your sector. I need you to hunt him down. This captain has refused to do so. Take care of the problem. You have actually stormed the bridge. You've killed dozens of Imperial-side Marines in the process, and you're about to confront the captain. You're gonna have to make a decision. Usually we would actually let you make this decision, but you've made the decision by coming today rather than tomorrow. So, you're gonna make a decision here today. You're gonna see one direction the demo could go. It goes two ways, entirely different, based on the choice that gets made. Take it away, gentlemen. It may be a trap.
All Marines have been neutralized. Scanning for additional threats.
What's going on? Sir?
Stay calm, Ensign. Everyone stay calm.
No threats found. The bridge is now secure.
Who's calling the shots here?
I'm Captain Revenant Orzik. I'm pretty sure I know what this is about. For the record, I take complete responsibility for my actions.
You just saw the bounty hunter speak. You're about to see the Sith Warrior speak. This is the first multiplayer dialogue system ever.
Captain Orzik, I'm told you disobeyed a direct order from Grand Moff Kilran.
Yes, I had no idea he'd respond this brutally. He must want the Brental Star's passenger pretty badly. Maybe he just hates me. The Black Talon would be destroyed chasing a battleship. I've fought in the war before and I'll fight again, but I don't do suicide missions.
Now, as I said, this is the point at which we would let you decide, but we're going to decide a different way today. You may have seen this online. We're going to spare the captain today. Save the captain!
I'm not looking to make a martyr of anyone. We can complete this mission and survive.
I expect you believe that. I see it differently. Listen to me. You've managed to hijack one ship, and that's certainly impressive. But taking on the Brental Star is something else altogether. I might be able to get us close, but then you'd have to board it, fight an army of Republic soldiers, and somehow find the general. It's unacceptable.
We don't have a choice. Those were Moff Kilran's instructions. So if we're gonna survive, we need to work together.
I see. You're as much a victim here as I am, aren't you? Damn Kilran and his fleet. All right. I'm not ready to be branded a traitor just yet. We'll get the general. I'm not sure how, but we'll get him.
Let's get to work. We don't have much time.
Downloading new orders to all bridge consoles. Priority 1, intercept the Brental Star.
You heard the droid, everyone. Prepare to jump to lightspeed.
Emerging from hyperspace now. One Branta-class warship on the scanners. Powering up.
Enemy is firing. Turbo lasers, missiles, and what looks like transport pods. I'm not sure.
Evasive maneuvers. Keep the pods at distance. They look harmless, but they'll latch onto the hull and cut at us with sabotage droids.
Evasive maneuvers. Aye, sir.
Sir, 3 shuttles on an intercept course.
An assault party. We don't have sufficient defenses to keep them from landing.
Let them land. I can handle any boarders.
This course of action is deemed advisable.
Security will meet you at the entrance to the shuttle bay. Defend the ship at all costs. We'll get you to the Brental Star.
All right, now the decision we made to spare the captain has entirely changed the way this scenario plays out. And remember, folks, this is a massively multiplayer game. There is no save button. You can't just go back and change your mind. So the gameplay, the combat, the story, even the eventual rewards you're going to receive are going to be entirely different based upon sparing the captain rather than killing the captain. There are further impacts to your decisions, and I'm going to talk about those in a minute after we kill a bunch of guys here.
All right, so it's time to see what our higher level characters can do here. Let's cause some damage. All right, so very quickly we see that force leap again. Jake able to close the distance, get in close to do some damage with that lightsaber. And we're going to be fighting many more enemies than what we've seen before. And there you see classic Darth Vader move, the force choke, of course. And here you'll see we've got another lightsaber combatant already. This is a Jedi Padawan. Obviously not as tough as a full-fledged Jedi, but still a bit of a challenge. Nice impale there. Bounty Hunter coming up in the background. Nice sleep dart there, helping out with the crowd control.
maximum firepower.
All right, in the background there, you see a higher level ability of our bounty hunter. That's called Death from Above, able to use his jetpack to get up above the fray and fire down with his rockets and blasters. And of course, really what you're seeing here is Jake and Tim's boyhood fantasy of running through a game together as a young Boba Fett and young Darth Vader, the kind of damage they could cause to the Republic.
You may run, or you may stand your ground, but you go no farther.
We've made it to the landing bay here, another Padawan to take on. And just another quick note here, if you pay attention, you'll see that we have both factions fighting here, both NPCs. The Imperial troops are battling with the Republic and trying to help us out.
Now, if you've played BioWare games in the past, you know that we have companion characters. Our game is no exception. So when you make a big decision like the one to spare or to kill the captain, you're going to affect the way that your companions, as well as other NPCs, think of you in the game. This could change the content that you see later in the game. Some content will only be unlocked if you've gained complete loyalty from certain companions. So your choices don't just have an immediate impact, they have a long-term impact as well.
Finish off a few more of these Republic troops. And there you see an area of effect attack using Force Lightning to immobilize the enemy and do some damage. Still under attack.
Now, if you remember, the original Knights of the Old Republic also had a light side, dark side system. If you were paying very close attention, you got some light side points for sparing the captain. This is going to have an effect on your character progression. If you go very dark side or very light side, or even walk the line and play very gray, you're going to get special abilities, powers that are only available to you. So your decisions actually impact your character build over time.
And here I just want to point out, we now have the full-fledged Jedi Knight. We're under attack. This is a boss battle, going to be a lot tougher. You can see already he's using some force powers against us. Nice view there. You can see he can deflect blaster bolts from those Imperial troops. Now, this actually brings to mind something. We see the Jedi here. You know, I've often wondered, I want to talk to the Penny Arcade guys, because I really like Cardboard Tube Samurai, and I'm just wondering, have they ever considered Cardboard Tube Jedi?
Cardboard Tube Jedi. We're just asking. Can we get that done?
Force powers with the cardboard tube?
I think I saw a Cardboard Tube Jedi walking around a minute ago.
All right, nice teamwork there. That's hardly even fair. The Force choke with the bounty hunter helping out in the background. Lovely finish, gentlemen.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right, so thank you. So, of course, what great RPG would be complete without some fat loot? So what do we get from our Jedi here? Yeah. Well, Dallas, what's the only thing better than one lightsaber?
I don't know, maybe 2 lightsabers?
I think that's it.
What about 3 lightsabers?
Maybe.
I don't know if that's possible. All right, there you go. That is Star Wars: The Old Republic, everybody.